Welcome to the award-winning Saints Happy Hour podcast. Seriously, this podcast has won awards. American standards are dropping every day. The show features Ralph, the best host in the world, who can barely pronounce his own name, much less anyone else's.
Marcus Callaway.
Dave is that dude who loves taking bathroom breaks. He's mad about almost anything, so make sure to lower your volume when he speaks.
Put that freaking clown meme back up that I made. Jesus Christ.
Andrew has sources, watches tapes, and knows football. He rarely shows up on time and wants to commit crimes to help the Saints win.
Sean Payton would have done illegal things. Don't tell me I'm wrong, because you know it's true.
Oh, and there's also Kevin, who is great at doing mock drafts, but struggles to actually watch Saints games or have a functioning relationship.
Budrich wants to know how the doctor's doing.
That ended.
Anyway, grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy the insanity.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. Thanks for finding us on YouTube. If you found us on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. As always, we are brought to you by Hard Hide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. See, Kevin, I get confused. I have to look back and I have to make sure that I read it correctly. But today, Saints, Bucs, Sunday. I joked on Twitter that watching the Bucs Monday night, Kevin, that the Saints Bucs was going to set offensive football back to the Stone Age. The Bucs 2-1, but they played the Bears, who are maybe the worst run organization. They haven't won since before Halloween. They're atrocious. And they beat Minnesota the opening week. They're winless. So both of their wins have come against winless teams. And they got skull dragged, as you like to say, against the Eagles Monday night in the rain. Amazingly, Kevin, Tampa Bay not only runs the ball worse than the Saints, but they run the ball worse than the Saints by a significant margin. The Saints average 3.4 yards a rush. You know what Tampa averages per rush, Kevin? Do you want to guess?
3.1.
2.8. I mean, that is bad. And Kevin, consider that they averaged 2.8, and yeah, they got crushed by Philadelphia Monday night, but they were leading the entire Bears game. They were leading that entire Vikings game. So they were leading those games, and they still couldn't get their running game cranked up. It's very weird, though. They're a very weird team when I look at them, because like Baker, he's been okay. But he's been, like, he hasn't turned the ball over, so that's good. But he's been, like, awful on first and second down. But, like, third down, he's, like, completing, like, 75% of his passes and like, getting first downs left and right. So they're a very weird team. But in a general, like, Tampa, this rivalry with Tampa, Kevin, it's weird in that, like, it really heated up when Brady came to town. And like their fans really hate the Saints, and they really like try to goad us on social media. They want it to be a rivalry, but it's just like
it's not.
I don't view Tampa that way at all. Like I don't view Carolina that way at all. Like it's Atlanta and everybody else.
Yeah. The Bucs are, look, the Bucs were relevant twice in their entire history as an organization.
Yeah.
And that was the Super Bowl year. And they were both Super Bowl years. It was
2000,
with Brad Johnson leading them, and then when they did it because Tom Brady decided to leave New England and do something on his own, and he arbitrarily, or well, maybe not so arbitrarily, picked the Bucs to be the team he was going to jump on. Like, that was it.
Yeah, and the Bucs, the weird thing with the Bucs is until last year, the Saints owned them. Saints' record against the Bucs is the best of any team they play. Like they own the Bucs. And even last year, Kevin, I can argue the Saints had the second game freaking won until pass interference penalties and weirdness, just absolute weirdness and chaos happened at the end to lose that game. And the first game, the Saints were winning. Mark Ingram rips off a 20-yard run. It's supposed to be first and goal at the 4. And if the Saints score, like, despite Jameis having the broken back, despite all the issues, like, Tampa wasn't going to score that game if the Saints had gone ahead, and Tampa didn't start moving the ball till Lattimore got thrown out, right? So in a weird way, like, maybe we're looking at this game from the wrong way. Like, I'm not confident at all. I picked Tampa to win, but the more I think about it, like, maybe we're overthinking this game and the Saints just own Tampa.
No, look, be that as it may, I even if I picked the Bucs to win, and even if the Bucs do win, I still think that on principle or on balance that the Saints do own them, do get the better of them. Yeah, like, I'm not worried about, the Bucs won, so that means that they've earned some sort of great respect. It's like, no, your team sucks. Our team sucks right now. It's a battle of two teams that stink. So
I don't know.
Who stinks the least?
They're both 2-1.
They're both 2 Look, we stink right now because the offense finally got our quarterback injured, and now we have the backup in who there's not a lot of confidence in Jameis. There really isn't. Mm-hmm. There isn't. There's people the people that are very confident in Jameis are the ones that deluded themselves into thinking he was good or great to begin with, and they can't let that go. I would love to be wrong. I would love for Jameis to go out there and throw for 350 yards and 3 scores and all this other kind of stuff. I don't care about being wrong on this. No, I don't. No. I just don't think he's going to do it. There's nothing I've seen from Jameis Winston outside. I mean, shoot, even the game, what was it, 2 years ago? Even the game 2 years ago, the season opener against Green Bay, where he threw 5 touchdowns or something. He still threw for 200 yards or something.
Not even.
Yeah. I just don't see him throwing the ball that much, that far. If the Saints win, it's going to be because the defense carried the day and the offense didn't screw up a bunch.
That's the thing. I said it on other podcasts, in interviews, and I said it in my Channel 4 column. You just tell me the turnover column. Just tell me the Saints had this many turnovers, Tampa had this many turnovers, and I'll tell you who won the game. And I would bet, if you just gave me that stat, I would bet a significant amount of money. If you told me today, you're like, Tampa has 3 turnovers, the Saints had none, I'd bet $1,000 on the Saints. I wouldn't need anything else. I wouldn't need any other, don't even give me any other data. I think you're right in the sense that this game is going to be lost, right? Not won. But the interesting thing to me is
Bucs -1.
I'd still take the Saints.
Okay.
I'd still.
All right. I had to put the screw to you on that, because you can't just say, if the Bucs turn it over 3 times and the Saints. I mean, how many NFL teams lose?
No. The only thing that would make me a little nervous if the Bucs were -1 is I wouldn't know how many turnovers the Saints had. Because if it's Bucs turn it over once, Saints turn it over none, I'd feel great about it. But if it's Tampa turned it
3-2.
3-2. See, I'd be worried because you don't know, those two Saints turnovers, did they cost them points or gift Tampa points? That's critical. I'd still bet the Saints or flip side, I'd still bet Tampa if they won the turnover battle. But the other thing I was going to say, Kevin, is there's a lot of Saints experts, media, and podcasts. They've been saying this week, the Saints, they need to tell Jameis short passing game, screens, and get the ball out quick and throw the screens to Kamara, dump offs and all that. And I get that in theory. But then I go back to the first Saints game where they're playing the Titans. And Derek Carr is telling Pete Carmichael, I want to throw a go route to Shaheed. And Jameis is the hype man. He's He's like Flavor Flav with the clock, and he's like, yes, let's go. Like Jameis, he isn't about that. Like his whole essence is like ride or die, chuck the bomb. Like asking Jameis to like check downs and slants, like that ain't him, man. He ain't about that life. And I just think like asking him to do that, like you're not really the best case scenario is he doesn't screw up, but he's not going to thrive. Like part of me is just like get the offensive line to play better, max protect, whatever. But you got to let Jameis be Jameis and just try to protect better. Like, I don't think asking Jameis to check it down and throw slants and screens, like, I don't think that's the way to go. Like, you got to just let Jameis be Jameis, baby.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where I come down on this, because I just want the guy to play. Look, whatever the best version of him is, whatever game plan is going to put him in the best chance to succeed. Like, that's all I want. So, but it's dependent on the offensive line being able to protect him. So it's like, yeah, if Jameis throwing the ball deep, if Jameis throwing these 30, 40-yard balls is what makes him feel comfortable and what makes him feel like he can succeed and gets him in a rhythm, and they can, maybe throw some slant passes or something here and there, fine. But I have to see the offensive line be able to protect him long enough.
Yeah. And
I have to see Jameis not make bad decisions.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. No, you're right. I think the key for the Saints is they've got to have. Obviously, you want to have a good start. That's always prerogative. But one thing I think they can't have is they got to get through that first drive, no sacks allowed. Because I just think the Saints fans are generally smart and are generally plugged into the Saints, even the casual ones. Like, everybody going to that stadium knows the offensive line stunk. It got Derek Carr injured. Like, if they go 3 and out and Jameis is hit on first down and sacked on third down, like, that crowd is going to turn instantly against this offense. Like, I'm not, you may disagree, but I'm not kidding. Like, they'll boo their asses off the field if they give up a sack first drive. I think we're salty, man.
The prediction, yeah. I mean, I can absolutely see the stadium booing the offense. I'm just, that's a bold take, saying they would boo him on the first drive.
Boo him on the first drive.
That's a bold take. I can't go there, but I admire the boldness of that. That's a spicy take.
I mean, I don't necessarily. Here's the thing, though, Kevin. I don't think it's unwarranted. Like,
I'm not saying it's unwarranted. I just don't know if I can picture a stadium full of fans booing on the first drive.
I can, especially if Derek Carr plays, and we're like, oh my God, the first drive, he's not gonna make it to halftime.
If Derek Carr is playing, okay, I'm trying to think how to word this. If Derek Carr is playing, DA automatically goes on the hot seat.
That's spicy.
Because Derek Carr should not be playing. Derek Carr, look, I saw the soundbite yesterday. Derek Carr is talking about, oh yeah, we're recording this on Thursday. I know Ralph hates it when I give that away.
We're talking about the injury.
Derek Carr on Wednesday was in front of the media and saying, hey, I'm trying to get this, trying to do that. I want to, if I feel like I can play, I want to be able to play, all that kind of stuff. That's what you want your starting quarterback to say who's hurt.
Yep.
That's what you want a team leader to say. You want a player to say that, like a captain. Like, you want somebody to say that. That's how you lead. It is then incumbent upon coaching staff, the head coach at the end of the day, to say, that's great, Derek. We admire your moxie. Take the clipboard and the Microsoft, whatever the hell we call those things, and sit on the sideline and help talk Jameis into recognizing this or that, and how don't be like me, get rid of the ball quicker, because these 5 guys in front of you, it's a flip of the coin. But the coaching staff has to keep Derek on ice, under wraps, whatever cute phrase you want to use. But if Derek plays, it's on Dennis Allen. It is 100% on Dennis Allen. If anything happening to Derek Carr, it then goes on Dennis Allen.
Well, and that's an interesting point, because I wonder how last year influences Dennis Allen's thought process. Because I think if you asked Dennis Allen and he was truthful, he would say, I bleeped that up. Jameis shouldn't have played week 2. Shouldn't have played week 3 in Carolina. Hurt. He bleeped up. Gave us no chance. And that was my fault. I screwed that up. I think he would say that if he was being honest. So I wonder if that decision making influences his thinking, and is like, hey, I know he says he can go, but we got to rest him and see if we can win with Jameis. You know, the thing is for the Saints, Kevin, is if my thing with NFL is you got to wait about 4 weeks, and then you play about 4 weeks, a month. You kind of know what you got. Sometimes it'll change, but my thing is
that's why when it was 16 games, it was easier to do this, because you could look at it as first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. But it's like, yeah, so just I guess give the second quarter the extra game, so they've got the 5. So yeah, this one 4 weeks or 4 games, and then you can start making assessments. Please continue.
No, I think just if you go 4 weeks and you can't block people, right? They haven't done it for 3 years. And they can make sort of adjustments in game to make it not so terrible, and they managed to win twice. But if they can't come up with a plan to not get their quarterback murdered in the first half, if they go, because if it happens again, Kevin, whether it's 6-3 or whatever, the low scoring again at halftime, if we go into halftime against Tampa and the Saints have given up 3 sacks in the first half, that's 4 straight weeks their quarterback will have been murdered in the first half, right? At that point, it becomes, to me, is you're incapable of blocking. You're even incapable of setting up a plan to max protect, to try to protect your quarterback, and your line stinks going into these games, and you're incapable of even doing that. At that point, as far as regards the offensive line, I just lose all hope. I mean, I'm not saying that they'll be 2-15 or whatever, but at that point, it's just like you throw up your hands and you're just like, this is just going to be a problem all year, and I don't know what you do, because at that point, it's 4 straight weeks of not just bad play or subpar play, Kevin. Horrible play in first halves. Horrible.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that.
All right, so my other thing that I wanted to talk about in this game, which is really important football talk, Baker Mayfield has such a punchable. Like that guy.
Let me look. Let me Google him.
I mean, he's got a punchable face. I feel like Baker Mayfield beating Dennis Allen last year, it in week 3, borderline fireable offense. Like if the Saints had been like, Dennis, find your way back to New Orleans, bus ticket, hitchhike, whatever, not taking you on the plane. Like, I think it would have been warranted. Like to lose to Baker Mayfield, he threw for like 60 yards. Like, that was infuriating. And Baker Mayfield, he just has a punchable face. At least
So his team photo, like his profile picture team photo, Yeah, punchable face, and he looks like he's in the AV club. There's a game photo of him with the eye black on, and he's got like the headband or like the hairband. And he looks like not the main villain, but the main villain's buddy who has like 2 lines of dialogue in one of those 80s teen sex romp movies that's like set at a ski lodge. Like Ski Jump or Ski School or something, I don't know, one of those kind of things. Like he just looks like he's the guy laughing at the very end when his buddy does really well going on like a diamond trail or something. I don't know.
He looks like it. Does look like. But I'm glad that like at least we don't have to tolerate him with like aggressive commercials anymore. I don't have to see him 10,000 times. Okay, so that's nice. Couple things before we get out of here. Well, not that it can be successful because we don't know. Like maybe the Saints just aren't capable of blocking. No matter what scheme they do, no matter what they do, it's not going to work. So like that may be the case. But what would you like the Saints on offense to try first quarter? Where you would, even if it doesn't work and Jameis gets sacked and they still have pressure and it's calamity, what would you like Pete Carmichael? Are there certain plays or something you would like and you'd be like, okay, you're trying new things, Pete. We'll give you credit. Didn't work. Or maybe it did. Congratulations. What would you like to see in the first half of games? You'd be like, okay, trying new things. Admitting the offensive line is terrible. Are there any formations, things that you would like to see?
The problem with this, is this one relies on the offensive line, so maybe I won't say that. I will say, honestly, I would like to see a couple of screen passes. I would like to see a swing pass to Kamara. The thing I censored myself on is I would love to see a flea flicker.
Ooh.
I would love to see handoff to Kamara, turn around, pitch back, and then Jameis either heaves it up to Shaheed or Olave. Take a pick.
2 things I want to see. I want to see Jameis roll in pocket, not necessarily like roll out and throw, just move that pocket left, move that pocket right to help Jameis a little bit. Maybe even, Kevin, when you move, a lot of college teams will move the pocket and you just like, you're rolling right, read half the field. Make it simpler for Jameis because it makes it easier on him, easier on the offensive line, everybody. The other thing is get the freaking ball to Shaheed. I don't want to see a box score on Sunday when we're doing the post-game show. I don't want to see a box score. Shaheed, 3 targets, 1 catch, 1 rush, 7 total yards. That's what I don't want to I don't care if it's end arounds. I don't care if it's a pitch. I don't care if it's a reverse. I don't care if it's a bubble screen, whatever. Get him the ball. You've scored 5 touchdowns. He has 2 of them. Get him the freaking ball. And if it doesn't work, fine. But I want to see the ball in his hands at least 5 times.
I mean, this is the time for Pete Carmichael to get creative, get inventive. Like this is he's going to have Jameis this Sunday. He may have Jameis the following week. We don't know, but Pete Carmichael has to come up with stuff that shows itself in the first half.
Yeah,
like he has to be able to demonstrate that he can put together an offensive scheme for this team. I honestly, I think Pete Carmichael's the one that's on the hot seat more than Dennis Allen. I can't. Like there are people.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
I can't blame Jameis for last week. I really can't. Like the guy got him. He came in, thrust into action the second half.
He did enough. He wasn't
even
great.
though I have a low opinion of Jameis.
He did enough.
He got the team
right.
into field goal range. I can't blame Dennis. I can't put it on Dennis Allen. Like I put it, it's on the offensive line.
Doug Marrone.
It's on Doug Marrone. It's on Pete Carmichael. Those top three right there. So that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be on this. Unless Jameis looks hideous, making mistakes and all and all these other kinds of things. I don't know.
Marshawn Lattimore, we know Mike Evans is his son, and he sons him over and over and over.
Yeah, don't get thrown out.
Don't get thrown out. But he's dominated Mike Evans in a way that, I mean, he's put the clamps on him so strong. I feel like it's hard for me to imagine like Lattimore could have a game where we would be like, this is the most incredible way he shut down Mike Evans ever. Like he just does it so consistently. I have a hard time. I guess maybe if he had a butt interception and like a pick six, then it would maybe top all of his work against Mike Evans previously. Final thing, and then we'll get to it if we're going to change our predictions. This coaching matchup, Kevin, has the potential to be hilarious because Dennis Allen, Todd Bowles, they aren't exactly clock geniuses, strategic geniuses. Who do you trust more to not screw it up?
Who do I trust to not screw it up?
Who do you trust more not to screw it up? Like if it's the end of the game, who do you...
Honestly, I would trust Dennis Allen over Todd Bowles.
Yeah. Like to get the, like to use timeouts right, to clock management, to make the right decision when it's fourth and a yard from the 35 and you're up 14-10, whatever it is. Like who do you trust not screw it up? It's a tough call because they're both defensive coaches and they both will be like ultra conservative.
I don't know. I guess I lean more Dennis Allen on that.
I think I lean Dennis Allen more, but we'll see. Okay. Final thing, then we'll get out of here. It comes to the point where we say, hey, we made the pick on the main show, which you weren't there, but you made a pick. I'll go first. I picked Tampa 9-6. I said that this game would set NFL offensive football back to the Stone Age. And I'm going to stick with it. But I feel like we're at the point of the year, temperature's starting to change, the leaves are starting to change. We are due a very, very Saintsy type performance. And when people say when I say Saintsy, people listen to the show, they automatically think that's bad. But Saintsy could be good, Kevin. Like Jameis just gets on a heater and the Saints score 30. Like I feel like a good Saintsy performance is coming this week, next week. It's gonna have a Saintsy performance. So I almost changed, but I didn't. I'm gonna stick with my 9-6 Tampa prediction, and this game is gonna be a slog watch for.
Yeah. Oh, you're really selling me on watching this thing on Sunday. Thank you.
YouTube, they've already got the money.
I predicted 16-10 Bucs. Actually, everybody, like we all pounded the under on this thing. The under was, I think, 40.5. The highest prediction was Juge and his nice $20 haircut. He went 17-14, so he went 31 points. You went the lowest with 15 total. Yeah, I'm sticking with the Bucs. I'm really tempted to drop it down to 13-10, but Dave also picked 13-10. So I could see it. Yeah, I'm sticking 16-10.
I'm gonna one final thing.
I could see it being worse. I could see it being like what you've got, the 9-6. But I'm sticking 16 to 10.
I'll tell you a final thing, then we'll get out of here. There's a guy on Twitter. It's called Punalytics, and he breaks down punting NFL by advanced statistics. Fifth worst is Lou Headley, Juge's UDFA son. And this is the kind of game, Kevin, if Headley's bad, it's the kind of game that bad punting, I think, can really swing the game. And if he's mediocre again, whether the Saints win or lose, and it's low scoring, and after the game, maybe they win and we're like, they won, but Headley stunk again. Like, I think if he's bad again this week and it's low scoring, ugly, nasty game, like I think he might be punting for his job Tuesday. He has not been good, and I know teams are hesitant to do that because he's a holder and all that. But I think Headley, like, he's got to get his stuff together. I think he's on thinner ice than we think because punting has been. Offensive line is like the sun. It just blacks out everything. That's anything and everything that might be wrong with the Saints. Offensive line just blocks it out. But I think the punting could be an issue this week. So I'm saying, Headley, get your shit together, or you might be punting for your job Tuesday. So, guys, thanks for joining us. If you find us on YouTube, all we ask, wherever you get your podcasts, and you listen to them on your phone, in your car, wherever you do, Saints Happy Hour. Search us, subscribe, listen to us. I promise you're going to love us. Give us a try. And hopefully you'll want to join us and hang around and listen. So, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks to Kevin for coming on, hanging out with me, doing the game preview. And we will see you Sunday after the Saints-Bucs game. Till then, the bar is closed.